Hey everyone, welcome back to season 2 of This Wasn't in the Manual. I'm Anam.
I'm Ksenia.
Can you believe we're back?
I don't actually. It's been a long time, right?
I am so excited. We have some exciting guest lineup.
Yeah, and I'm especially excited about today's episode because today we have Yara. So Yara, it is someone I have known for a while, right? We work together, and Yara is not just brilliant at what she does, but she's also a great human. So Yara, welcome to the show.
Thank you, ladies, for this nice introduction. I'm very humbled. And thanks for having me. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Well, thanks for joining us and being our first guest.
Thank you.
Yara, before we dive into this episode and your career and your trajectory, I want to start with what did you do before you got into marketing and before you were in Dubai? You started in Beirut, is that correct?
Yes. So how did I start? That's a good question. I started with an outdoor advertising company.
Oh, really? I didn't know this. I thought that you went straight to the agency.
No.
It was always advertising then?
Yeah. So basically, I was always, into advertising, into that space. I used to see billboards everywhere. And I used to like, advertising. And I didn't know how it is, how it goes, what's in it. So literally, I just saw the name of the supplier on the outdoor billboards. And I said to myself, I'm going to apply there. And I went just randomly on their website. You didn't have like LinkedIn jobs. I didn't know if there was a job opening also.
When was it? Like 10 years ago?
When was it? It was 16 years ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I literally just sent my CV. They called me back. And this is how I started my job. It was purely executional, just understanding what are the outdoor formats, how do they look like, how to sell to clients. And throughout that, I started really understanding, okay, so there you have a big agency group, and within the agency group, you have a media agency and you have a creative agency. And this is how it looks like. And because we used to see a lot of clients, we used to go to banks, we used to go to like really different verticals. The agency life really stood out for me. So whenever I used to enter the building, I used to tell myself, that's really cool. I want to be part of this. So this is after that I started working in an agency.
Did you study marketing?
Yes, absolutely. So, I studied business marketing. And as I said, I was so much into advertising in general. Just for context, in Lebanon, there used to be every year kind of a marathon of advertising. So it was called Nuit des Publivores. So they used to book like 3 full days in a row. And people would buy cinema tickets and go watch all the ads that ran in Lebanon throughout the year. And I used to actually buy those tickets and go with my friend. And we used to have like comments on, okay, this ad's good, this ad's not good. So I always had an opinion about this. I was also very passionate about brands and how they fit in, a person's life. So I didn't know what marketing was specifically and how would that translate into, a career path. How would my career look on a day-to-day? But I was lucky enough to do that and ended up being in a job that I actually enjoy.
That's really fascinating what you just said about the ads being displayed in the cinema and you guys would buy tickets to watch the ads.
Yeah.
And today we pay to not watch the ads.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the odds?
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
I don't think I'm not sure if they still do it today. I need to check, but it was a big thing for Lebanon at the time.
Yeah, but in fact, it depends. I mean, for example, I still don't pay my subscriptions. I don't pay for YouTube Premium because I want to watch ads, So I think it depends on people.
I love that for you because we're so opposite in this because everything Ksenia does, I'm like, no, I'm not. And everything is just like, why? Why are you doing that? So it's interesting because I think most of us, when we started our careers in marketing, like you said, roles and jobs weren't that evolved. Either we didn't see people who are in a similar, life phase as us, or just the industry wasn't as evolved.
Yeah.
So how have you seen the roles in marketing evolve since you started to today in 2026?
Yeah. Wow. That's it's a bit funny to see how things evolved. It's a bit cringe also. Back at the time, we used to obviously allocate so much money on traditional media, specifically print. So we used to literally kill ourselves to book this, full page ad in the newspaper, a double spread in the magazine. So that was considered premium visibility. So at the time, marketing was like, okay, was my ad visible? Was it creative? Did it win awards? It was like purely this, Now it's totally different. You see that marketing is much more closer to a business performance, right? So you directly see the impact of marketing on business, how it impacts transactions, growth, margins. So I would say the feedback loops have become much shorter.
Right.
For example, you launch a campaign in the morning, you see its impact at night, literally. And you have much more data at hand. So knowing what to do with that data is also another, tricky part for us. Like you do have a lot of data, but how do you translate that data into something that is meaningful? Yeah.
Right.
So
data conversation is so interesting. I would love to come back to it once we go forward. Because like today, there's not just your platform data, there is also your consumer data, but now there's more conversation around synthetic data and how they're comparing it to consumer data. And a lot of big marketers are talking about actually synthetic data is more valuable today because everybody is online and they're capturing all these insights. But anyway, that's for another section. But I actually want to go back to that cinema because I'm still fascinated. Do you remember a campaign that stood out for you? Because I also kind of understand, because markets like, I don't know much about Russia, but like in Lebanon and in Pakistan, creatives are just amazing. Like the way they turn out creativity, whether it's in paintings, movies, and commercials. It's so emotional and it's so heart touching. I want to know if you remember one ad that you went and you're like, okay, money spent well.
Yeah. So at the time, I used to handle Almaza. You know Almaza? It's a Lebanese brand, a beer brand.
The
beer.
The beer.
Okay, so it's like the most.
I actually thought of the juice first, but you're right. The Maza brand, that's in Beirut. Yeah, that's true.
So it's like literally the most iconic Lebanese brand. It symbolizes national pride. People love it. And at the time, we wanted to come up with there was a crisis in Lebanon. There was a trash crisis. At the time, we said, okay, what can be done? And we created a campaign called So That Beirut Remains Almaza. Almaza is diamond, basically. So we kind of use the same word, to indicate something. And we put all over Lebanon glass recycling bins. So basically, people would put in, their glasses into those bins, and then those glasses would be taken to artisanship of glass blowing. So you had also thousands of people who lost their jobs. And so we kind of revived the industry. They were doing really crafts with those bottles. And all of it was like super connected. It was a campaign that had a purpose. It was on the packs, all the map of everything that's being done was on the pack itself. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the campaigns that you would say, okay, maybe in the past, media was maybe a bit cringe, yes, but I think the real nuance of having something that's culturally relevant and touches the heart doesn't fade. So formats, maybe they change, but cultural truth doesn't. And I would say
human connection.
This is what stands.
And no matter what happens, national pride always, in a lot of ways, wins. Despite it happens in Pakistan, so I resonate a lot, and I have so many Lebanese friends, and I'm like, everyone has a similar sentiment, but there's so much national pride that I don't personally think they're cringe. I think they're so nice because like in the world of like churning out things like overnight, these are thoughtful stories and providing work or like environmental impact, national pride. I mean, it ticks off all the creative boxes, right? So it's great. Speaking of cringe, actually, is there, in your opinion, was there any campaign that you remember that was like super cringe and you're like, this is just done for the sake of doing? I mean, up to you if you want to.
I mean, not really, but I mean, now again, like for me, looking at all the budgets that were spent on print, now I see this cringe, but at the time it was not. So really, it has to be relevant in the time. You know, you look back, you see something maybe faded and things changed, and now we're living in such a fast-paced world where like things change overnight. So I wouldn't say.
Do you think print is coming back?
I'm not sure, but I also have a couple of interesting stories about print. So I have always been in digital, in fact, but I've talked to my colleagues from offline media, and I always liked their stories because their problems were so different to my problems. For example, they had to book this print placement like several years ahead. So they told me that it's not like you can book it for the next year. Like really, you need to get prepared for the 5 years ahead. And I'm like, what? For this print? They're like, yes.
For magazines or outdoor? Because
for magazines.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
unless it's
now you still have the same problem with outdoors sometimes. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, in summary, things change. Now we see them cringe, but at the time they were not cringe. You don't find them cringe in real time.
Yeah, that's fair. And then you moved to Dubai. What was that move like? Was that a clear yes? Of course, I need to leave.
Well, actually, so I moved to Dubai with the same group. It was kind of like an easy transition, but the move was not like, okay, I want to, up my career or I want to come to Dubai. It was purely a life decision. So my husband and I, like, we really had to take a call, on what to do next. And this is why I was lucky enough to move within the same agency, at least. So professionally, it was easier for me on that perspective. Dubai was very convenient, obviously, coming from Lebanon during that state. And like, I was like, okay, wow, things are so safe here, so organized. And it kind of gives you, if you want, the clarity to say, all right, this is being settled. Now I can take advantage and, grow my career, look at the opportunities, because you definitely feel all the opportunities in the market. So, yeah.
And you moved to Dubai around like 5-10 years ago, right? So it's been a while.
It's 2021.
Oh, no,
it's very recent. Yeah, it's very recent. I honestly completely align with you on the community aspect. And this is a conversation that we've had in every episode. I've been in Dubai for over 30 years and I'm still putting myself out there.
Oh, really?
I'm still, like, I have my core group of friends, like, they're like my ride or die. They're like family to me because I grew up here. But I have not stopped putting myself in places where I don't know people, where I'm learning something new or meeting someone or just having a random conversation.
Wow.
Just trying to find time. It's hard, but like you have to do it. You have to do it. And a lot of times people say that they don't find their community here. I'm like, you'll find it. I promise you can. Like, you just have to look around. It'll be your hobbies. Not everything is superficial. There's so many things that you can do here.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's for sure. I mean, the side of like Dubai is only bling bling. That's, I mean, we can definitely see that it's not only bling bling and there's so much to it. But yes, you have to put in an effort to build your circle. Yeah. And what helps is that everyone's is in the same boat, right? Everyone here is like, I mean, 80% of the people here are expats. So everyone is looking for that connection. So you just need to find it and to translate it in your life.
Actually, I just realized that Dubai is quite interesting in this aspect because when you live in your hometown, you do not try to make friends, right? Because you have some friends from your childhood, from your university times. But here in Dubai, everyone is trying to make friends. And like everyone is open to this and it's not cringe and it's okay. So Dubai is unique in this sense. I like it.
It is. I think
Absolutely.
I think like as I've grown older, I'm like, I always say I don't want more friends, but I'm also like very welcoming to new people in the sense where I'm like, I have no idea what I don't know. So I would love to learn from them. And suddenly it's some of the best friendships have come off like in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And they're some of the closest people. I mean, I am very blessed to have a great circle growing up. But also Dubai allows you that. All kinds of people from all parts of the world, different experiences. Just so fascinating. Yeah, it's really fascinating. But that's interesting.
I mean, we're sitting here today, right?
Yeah.
Where each one of us is coming from a different background.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never known this, by the way, not making friends and stuff.
And you know what's else interesting? That I have a lot of friends who live in Europe right now, like in London and some other cities. And mostly they make friends within the same nationalities because it's kind of like more convenient and I don't know. But here in Dubai, you do not try to go only for your nationalities because it's kind of like very open community. So you know that you can meet people from all around the world and you do not need to kind of like to make friends only with your nationalities because like people around you, I cannot explain.
No, I know, I get it because by the way, it's person to person as well.
Yeah.
It's actually like give yourself more credit for that because not everybody is open to it. Even people in Dubai, there are so many people who will be like, no, I just want to be with my nationality because I really don't care. Like I really don't care.
And they don't take advantage.
They don't
of
take
the
advantage.
time being here and of the opportunity. This is why I put my kids in an IB system where they have 17 nationalities in class. Although like again, you find comfort and familiarity but at the same time, okay, you're here. You have to take advantage of that, and you will not find this anywhere else in the world. So
quite literally, quite literally, and because even other parts of the world, you might find a few nationalities, but like you said, they're closed off. We're just like our circle and that's it.
Okay, but I have another interesting topic I wanted to discuss with you today. So you had been working on the agency side for a long time, around like 10 years, I believe, or around this time.
13.
13, oh my God.
Actually more, 14.
Oh my God. And recently you moved to the client side.
Yeah.
How is it? What's the main difference? Do you like it, by the way?
Yeah, no, I'm loving it, honestly. The main difference is honestly the perspective of things. So I think from the agency side, we look at things from the outside to the inside, right? But from the client side, you look at things inside out. Like you see how everything fits the story together, how all the pieces are, linked from operations to retail to financials. I think this was the biggest eye-opening thing because on the agency side, no matter how close you are to the client, and I was super close and like I totally understood how the stakes are. We also had commercial pressures, like, we were in this
into
together.
Business, yes,
but once you're on the client side, you do see it from a different angle. So it's a different perspective. Yeah.
Was it difficult to adapt to the client side? I mean, did you find any changes you had to adapt to?
Yeah. So I think, honestly, coming from agency side, it automatically gives you a lot of agility because like agencies move so fast, you kind of already have your how do we call it, like you can already orchestrate a lot of things at the same time. So whenever you have something, you already think about how the ecosystem will fit in. So you're already on your feet. If we say you're already on your feet all the time. So this like really helped me, being on the client side. Also, obviously, coming from the agency, you kind of know how agency works. You know the pressure that they're under. How the pace is. How ideas are born. So So I can challenge that when needed, and I can also support them because I truly understand how things are. And so the collaboration becomes much better.
I really like that because I recently also switched jobs from demand to supply side of the industry. Although I'm in marketing and people ask me, do you miss agency life? I'm like, no, but it was the most foundational years of my life. And they make you, what you were saying as well, it makes you so dynamic and very agile to anything that comes along. You're like, I know this, I understand this. Even if I don't know it fully, I'm like, I understand the concept behind it. And I know how to think like 4 steps ahead. But like sometimes you're just like, okay, I'm going to watch it like play out. But like, I feel like if somebody's starting, this is my opinion, if someone's starting in marketing and advertising, I would say go to an agency.
Yeah, for sure.
Work for an agency. You work with multiple clients. You work with multiple products. You get so much exposure. And we were very lucky to work at one of the biggest agencies, in the world. So we got that exposure as well. But I think it just really shapes you. And I always say that it shaped me as a marketer as well. Yeah. Even though now I'm doing something completely different from what I was doing, but it helps. It's all transferable,
Of course.
And also you can find your industry, I believe, because at the agency side, you can work on technology industry, you can work in FMCG industry. So you can taste different industries and understand what actually is fascinating for you.
Yeah.
So I think
which is now the case, right? Like when we were starting out, we didn't have so many directions to go. Did you feel this way as well at your company? Because you went in-house as well.
I mean, like, that's exactly what I felt when I used to work at the agency side, because like I used to work on, I don't know, I cannot calculate, but I think I worked around maybe 10 different industries because I've always worked on the agency side for around 10, 11 years.
We had this at 12, no?
Maybe 11, even 12, yeah. And that's why like I've tried so many different things and I know how different industries work, that it's so interesting. And now I can apply it to the specific industry I'm in right now. So I think, it is very useful to start with the agency. And later on, if you want, you can move to the client side, definitely.
I have a question for both of you, actually. Going from working on multiple industries to now concentrating on one, does that get boring? Or no, it's still challenging?
No. I mean, for me, I'm not sure about you, but I mean, there's so much depth in the industry. And this is what I was saying, like on the agency side, you look at things, from the outside in, but really from the client side, you're looking at all the small details and you understand how everything ladders up to a good decision, to proper sustainable growth. So no, there's so much to learn. Actually, it doesn't get boring.
The same, like when you work on the agency side, you kind of like you expand your knowledge within different brands, different industries, different approaches. But when you work in the specific industry, you also broaden your experience, but in depth, as Yara said. So you kind of like start knowing not only about marketing, because, for example, I work a lot with the product team. I work a lot with our, PR influencer teams. I work a lot with different teams all across the company. That's why you kind of like start knowing about the industry a bit more, actually not a bit, much more. So that's the main difference. Yara, by the way, I have a question that is quite interesting to me. So did you find one thing that you truly believed was true about the client side, but once you moved to the client side, it turned out to be completely wrong?
Well, I used to believe that, any idea should work, right? Like if you have a good idea, I mean, it should work. Like, and what's the problem, But coming in on the client side, I understand that okay, if you have a good idea, it needs to come at the right timing. It needs to be, maybe in the right budget cycle. It needs to follow operational realities. So there's so much more rather than a good idea. So yeah, I would say this was my kind of revelation of things. Yeah.
Interesting.
For me, to be honest, it was, I think, deadlines. You know, when I was on the agency side, it was always driving me crazy. Why do clients come last minute? Why don't they plan ahead? Like, what's the problem? Why do they need everything, not even today, but yesterday? Then I moved to the client side and I'm like, I'm going to be the most organized client. You can ask my agency. No, not even close to this.
Because again, there are so many things happening, and when you don't have the full picture, you don't really understand. But
there's so many layers to it. Having been very close to my clients and then becoming friends with them, knowing exactly like you know what, it's not in their control, and it's tougher actually on that side.
In fact, it's also about the market. It's about the competitors, because all the time you look after what your competitors are doing, and you need to react very fast. So, for example, at my company, we actually changed the media plans. We changed our approaches like on the go. So because we see that something happened in the market and we need to react. So that's why you cannot really plan ahead, because something new might come up and you need to adjust to it.
That's actually very interesting. Taking on that cue, Yara, you worked on multiple different industries. What do you think is fundamentally different about QSR? Is it like also very, dynamic in changes in plans? Because not all competitors operate the same way in every industry. So how does it feel for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think QSR industry, I mean, it's the fastest industry that I've been exposed to.
Sorry to interrupt you guys, but just for listeners who don't know what QSR are, because I don't think that it's the most common
restaurant.
Yeah, so maybe Yara can tell us more. So we're diving deep into an industry called QSR. And Yara, please tell us what QSR is.
Yeah, it's quick service restaurant. Which is the likes of, the fast food chains, the yummy food, everything yummy.
Exactly.
QSR.
Everything else bad for you.
No, not really.
Good for the heart.
Indulges you.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's totally, I mean, on a different speed level. If you look at other maybe industries, you kind of have like specific moments where you compete on, but specifically in the QSR, you're competing on a daily basis, even multiple times a day. So it's a challenge. Also, the consideration, if you want, within the consumers is low. So decisions are taken very fast. So you have to make sure that your brand is clearly communicated, it is always on, and at the same time, it resonates with them at their heart and mind. So it's literally kind of balancing brand and performance every single day. You need to have good storytelling, but at the same time, you need to drive immediate action. So it's a very special industry, and so much to learn. It doesn't get boring at all.
Imagine. So it's faster than yours, I think, in that case.
I'm not so sure.
Really?
Yes, I don't know. Of course. Okay, for those who don't know, I work in video streaming at video streaming platform, but I don't know. For us, it also moves very fast. I mean, sometimes my content acquisition team can come to me and tell me that they have a new movie, and it is releasing on our platform in a week, and you're like, okay, amazing. So I have a week to raise awareness. Fine, of course, yes, I'll do it. So I don't know. For us, it also moves very, very fast.
That's really fascinating.
Maybe it's because we are a new brand, that's why. So it also affects. Yara, by the way, so you work at the global client, right? Yeah. Here in MENA, of course, it's very important to localize brands. How do you do it? And beyond language aspect, obviously.
Yeah. So when it comes to localization, a lot of brands maybe look at it as, okay, we'll just translate what's there and then we're good to go. But actually it's much more. So it's really about how we interpret each market. Every global brand has, its set of values. It's, a global maybe personality. But understanding how to apply that to the local market and really understanding the market and the consumers in the market. So for example, what are people eating? With whom? What are the occasions? Do they prefer convenience or they prefer indulgence? What are their tension points currently? What are they worried about? What are they happy about? What are they celebrating? And once, you have a clear understanding to that, you not only adapt the communication, everything needs to be adapted to it. So the product, the pricing, the distribution. So all of that has to be locally relevant. So essentially, you kind of think global, but you apply local. We used to call it a glocal. Yeah.
Funny. That's funny.
Yeah. So I think it's time to talk about AI. We cannot skip this topic, obviously. Do you use AI a lot at your work? And I mean for advertising purposes, obviously. Do you create AI ads? Do you use AI for copyrights or for anything else?
Well, I think AI is the hot topic now. It's it's no longer kind of the elephant in the room. AI is here, and we need to start using it wisely and across everything, right? As you said, across content, across media, across forecasting. And I would say that it is still at a very primitive stage be it for us and for the industry in general. And just knowing how that would evolve from now would give us a real competitive edge. So yes, we are upskilling on that end, like maybe everyone else is.
By the way, Yara, I think that I've never worked in QSR, sorry guys, industry. And I'm curious, how do you approach marketing in general? So is it all about mass reach, big formats, or do you go for some more niche storytelling formats such as, I don't know, influencers, creators, or maybe even podcasts?
So it's really about the balance, right? Mm-hmm. So we look, first of all, we kind of look at what are consumers doing. Mm-hmm. As I said, just understanding the consumer, first of all. You definitely need mass reach because you need to drive that memorability because the category is so fast-paced. And people maybe don't have the time to, think about it and take their time. It's very kind of impulsive. So we have to be there. So mass reach, for sure, where we're heavy on mass reach formats, and you can see that as you walk outside the door. Long form, again, this is where we have the opportunity to tell our brand story, to drive this personal, if you want, maybe connection, and kind of hit in a different way. So while mass formats reach, create memorability, I think long form creates meaning. We do work a lot with the content creators as well. They do great, especially when they're authentic, when they fit the context. So when it's scripted and it's really unreal kind of, and it doesn't fit a creator's lifestyle, people see that. People see through that, and it's definitely cringe and doesn't get the results. Obviously, everything, built for platform, social first, it's native content that kind of really feels, again, not like a forced advertising, but kind of like you're being part of, the conversation with people. Well, podcast advertising in the region, we have not tried it yet. But in other markets, we do have like a specific show. Yeah. Like it's, again, casual conversation, storytelling with the hosts, highlights of sports results. So it's a good show. I would say definitely podcast advertising is growing. We know for a fact, we've seen the numbers, we've seen the stats. You have an opportunity to be close to the consumers and, sit with them on the table. It does give you that feel. But yeah, I would say it's all about balancing and integrating everything and seeing how all of that fits in the ecosystem. So there's not one channel for sure. It's just understanding how all of that fits in. And again, as I said, it's not an easy decision because there's such a complex structure to it, and you kind of need to align with everything in real time. As I said, not just like, okay, it looks nice on paper. You have so many things on the back end that goes to be able to bring it to life. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to dig on that a little bit. And this might be a question for both of you, and QSR and TV streaming as well. Previously, it was a no-brainer that radio would be on the plan. You know, like for everyone, anyone. I don't think anyone would even think about it.
Yeah.
Podcasting is doing, like, it's replicating that, and we have the numbers, as you said.
Yeah.
There is stats about podcasters in Saudi surpassing those that are globally known as well. So what exactly do clients feel like the barrier is? Because today your consumers, yes, for you, they're mass. For you as well, like generally it's mass. What is the barrier for including, let's say, I always say a media mix should be complementary.
Yeah.
You don't need to kill one over the other, because there will be an audience who's still listening to the radio.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time I listened to the radio, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys, I don't know how much you guys listen to the radio.
I do sometimes.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. That's fair. And I don't think it should go off the plans at all. And I always said that at the agency. I'm like, why is everyone fighting? There could be a piece of the pie. We're going to follow. It's about the right time, at the right place,
Yeah.
at the right moment, right? So what exactly is a brand hold up when they have to consider a podcast, when radio was such a easy sell?
I think, for me, again, having worked with so many different clients, and basically a lot of it boils down to, okay, this is our budget. We know that we need X amount to hit on these, top consume channels like 1, 2, 3, and the first, if you want, four places. And then in most of the times, you don't have maybe budget left to support this channel, knowing that it is maybe incremental. So it's a challenging thing if you look at it on a campaign by campaign basis, and you need to take a step out and see how does that fit in my overall strategy, right? Which is normally the hardest part when it comes to clients and just looking at things,
From a top lens, yeah.
From a top lens, and having clear visibility throughout the year, and how does that impact sales, etc. So I would say this is maybe a blocker, but definitely there is much more awareness on the impact of podcasts, because us as users, we are consuming podcasts. We are consuming this channel. We are impacted, but I think sometimes it needs some time as well for it to fall into place, right? And for it to they need to it needs trial at first before it picks up quickly on adoption.
Right. That's really interesting, because since we're recording the podcast and we're trying to really understand dynamics, and we've been in buying, say today you had to consider podcasting. So there are two ways. Either you shift budgets.
Yeah.
I want to know, first question is, where would you shift budgets from, like part of radio or part of content? Or would it be a mix? Second question is, do you think an out-of-the-box idea, like you said, internationally, they're doing a show and stuff, do you think that would create new budget streams, or it'd still be like something you need to take out of if it's impressed you enough?
So first of all, like, you need to cover your basics, right? And I think now that with, again, the challenge in the economy and with the consumers, and things are much harder now and each year they're becoming harder. So ensuring that you're covering your basics, even that is, that's becoming even tricky. So it doesn't have to be like, okay, we will take money out of radio. I mean, if you're not investing in radio, then it has to be from something else. But maybe, for example, if you have a big idea, I'm just saying, for example, in culture, and this story kind of fits in your overall, planning of that piece, when it comes to culture, for example. And this is how other markets are doing it. It's not like, okay, we're going to take money off radio and we're going to put it here. This is not the logic. So if it's an extension to your story in culture, and you kind of, for example, have a platform that you can build on, and obviously here, for example, having a show and expanding on it, this, for example, would be a kind of low-hanging fruit opportunity. It's not that obvious. It is a tricky one, especially when you're juggling budgets and priorities, and you want something, and you want to drive immediate impact. Again, this podcast will not maybe serve you. But if you're looking at things from, okay, I need to drive brand, but also I need to build impact. How can I drive brand? It's through, it's through storytelling. It's through culture moments. It's through those angles. Then I think looking into how best to activate podcasting in that space would
I appreciate this take a lot, because the reason why I asked is because there's always a singular narrative. It's either, oh, let's shift budget, or, oh, let's bring something crazy so they can invest more budget. It's not really about the budget. It's the story that the brand is trying to tell.
Yeah.
And if it works out, it works out, like at the point of when the briefing is being done. But I think it's about impact, and that's what most of the brands are looking for, and when it's relevant for them to activate it. So I think because there's always a very singular narrative. It's like, oh, let's move it from content, or let's move it from radio. No. It doesn't work like that, in the long term at least.
Yeah. And based on my experience, quite often sometimes it might be about budget restrictions, but quite often it's about habit. That's what I saw when I was on the agency side, and that's what I see now on the client side, that everything moves so fast that you just don't have time to look like beyond your regular media plan. And when it comes to podcasts or any other new channels, it's much easier just to use what you already have on the media plan, because you have benchmarks, the ad formats, how to brief your creative team. So it is already set. So it's very easy to move ahead fast and quickly. And what I saw on the agency side, that quite often brands overspend on regular channels like social media, for example, because they just put extra budget to the, say, Meta, TikTok, YouTube, I'm saying anything, and they still reach the same number of people, but they just increase frequency. But at some point, you do not need a high frequency, because you already reached your audience, you already reached them enough time for them to remember you and to consider your brands. You need to move beyond to have incremental reach and to tell your story a bit differently, so maybe it will impact people. And what I also see on the client side, that even if you brief for your agency, for example, and even if you want to consider new channels, it's kind of like a challenge, because you need to lock the media plan, you need to lock creatives in the next week, and if you don't get answers and you do not get clear way forward, you just move without this new channel. So I think it's about habit.
As well. Yeah, it does play a role as well.
But that's an interesting take as well. So I understand, and it happens at the agency front as well. Like we were on the product side, right? Like we were selling products, and when we would speak to the agency team, it was also because they had to churn out these plans quickly. They didn't have time to sit there and draft everything. And not that they didn't want to, it's because, like you said, on the client side, it's so fast paced as well. So what do you think would break that? Like when is the point where innovation is also like some level of a priority? Is it not a topic that brands say, oh, we don't want to like jump on the bandwagon before it's too late, or do we want to be the last ones? Is that something that you ever think about? Or do you expect the agency or the partner or the podcaster to come up with a plan and tell you this is it? What do you think would work?
I think what works for me, for example, personally, I try to do things, let's say, so I prefer when things are done, then they are done ideally. That's why, for example, when I see a new product or a new channel, I just go for it. I know that most likely, because it's something new for us, most likely we will deliver it later. So the whole ad campaign starts on time, but this piece of the ad campaign will start later because most likely we do something wrong. The creatives will not be ready or something else. So I'm like prepared from the beginning that many things will go wrong. And most likely my first, second, third campaign with this channel won't succeed. But like we keep doing this, and at some point it also becomes a habit that we always have this channel. And at some point we start delivering creatives on time. We start using it properly. We start using right targetings, right formats, and whatnot. And that's how we build our, let's say, knowledge database.
Right. Sorry, I'm like digging into this too much, but like one last question for both of you. It's pretty straightforward because I've come to the supply side and I always try to like dissect the psyche a lot. I used to see it from my lens and how and I worked with supply partners a lot at the agency as well. But today, I'm really fascinated by how clients behave because it's even in-depth conversation. So valid everything you guys said, but today I think, and I always felt like that partners need to be ready for you and for you. It shouldn't be generic, you know. You don't have time. We know our products well, so we have to bring it to you with the concept that fits your narrative. Do you think that's something that would help? Where a partner or a product says XYZ.
Of course.
Blah, blah, blah. Everything is ready. You're busy.
Yeah.
Agency as well. Even for the agency, I think because you both come from that background as well, like while you were there. I come to you and I go like, this is a product. This is your industry insight. This is what you can execute. I know, I understand you. I talk to you. I know how you do your media plans. I know how you do your media plans. Do you think that's something that increases the chances of a product being rolled out, podcast or anything?
For me, for sure. Again, if you look at from the agency's lens, right? Again, agency teams are under pressure. They want to move fast. Timelines are crunched. So just having another maybe headache, like they don't have time to deal with that. Plus, also they will be questioned from the client with a million questions, like what is the listenership rate? What is the reach? What is 1, 2, 3, 4? And just having maybe a supplier that doesn't provide all these details straight away, unintentionally, as she said, like they will go with, you know, the specific habit. So it's very important from the supplier. And if you compare it at least to the social platforms, like they have it sealed, you know, they sell their solutions so well. Everything's ready. You have playbooks, you have everything ready. However, from the podcast side of things, like it's still like you can test it, try, you know.
You need to do
There's
trainings.
No real learnings on it. You don't know the benchmark. Like
interesting, No, I completely get it, and I think this is beyond podcasts as well. Because there are, aside from podcasts in terms of product, there are a million in the market. And I think the only way you can stand apart is customizing your solution to the client's need. And it's not just even about being busy. And especially if it's a new product, there's a lot of training and, you know, even like agency people are responsible for like delivering something and they don't want to deliver something that's half-assed, like for lack of a better word, you know.
100%.
Otherwise you lose that trust with the client.
Yeah, and I don't want to complain, but I don't know, most of the suppliers, they provide only half of the information. And then you need to chase them.
We haven't spoken, so like, maybe you need to speak to me. Like, we'll see. I'll give you the information. That's funny. I know, but I understand. I mean, I've faced that so much at the agency front. I worked with so many partners. I'm like, you know your product. Like,
they're like, it is a great product. You're like, what's the audience size? They're like, we'll get back to you. Then they give you the audience size. You're like, what formats do you have? They're like, we will get back to you. I'm like, no, guys.
It's already done. So funny. It's very crazy.
But Yara, how do you handle this challenge? I mean, how do you make sure that you start using new products, new channels, new creatives? How do you make it as a habit at QSR? Oh my God, I cannot.
QSR.
Honestly, it's again, it's a challenge for us, like everyone, because we don't want to have the same, replicated plans across, but we know that, okay, this is the core and this works and we want immediate action. So it's definitely a challenge for us as well. And I think the most important thing is to pre-plan things ahead of time. And this is like the key thing in everything. And just pre-planning solves so much. You know, the agency is less under pressure. You know what are your priorities. You have time to change and realign, and not just like, just like fall into a new year and just, keep on rolling. So pre-planning, pre-alignment is super important. And in most of the cases, you see like the client wants, I want immediate results, because they're like, we're under pressure, right? From the agency side, they're like, yeah, but we need the timelines. We need to make sure that we have the specific resourcing, a proper resourcing in place. So, and both of them are right, So just aligning all of that together just really, really delivers the best results.
Okay, and to wrap up our marketing topics, in your opinion, what's top 3 trends in modern marketing that would form our marketing in the next 2-3 years?
Well, we talked about AI, right? So AI, for sure, knowing how that would serve you, upskilling, yourself, and seeing how that fits in and helps you, being by saving costs or optimizing, getting better deliverables. Second is everything that has to do with your own data. So still clients who don't have to rely on third parties, know how to leverage their own data. I mean, they definitely have a huge competitive edge because they can't really understand their consumers if they don't have that. And third is just how can you move with culture in real time and adapt your communication to culture in real time. This would be core to you as well. Yeah.
Nice.
Love that. Thank you so much for all of the insights. They were actually super fascinating, especially from a QSR lens. Now we'll go and wrap up a little on a general note. Looking back in life or professionally, what do you think wasn't in the manual?
Someone you wish someone had told you earlier.
Yeah. Well, so early in my career, I used to think that, you have to do everything perfectly, right? Like perfection is everything. But as, I had more experience, I grew older, I know that it's basically resilience. Just being resilient is more important than being perfect. The ability to kind of adapt and move, this is what this is the important thing, because life happens, things change. People move countries, people come, people go, people leave. So this would be a learning that wasn't in the manual. Another thing would be to really take care of yourself during that, whatever you're doing, especially if you're in Dubai, things are fast-paced. You have pressure from, different sides. So take care of yourself, put your health first, and just really try to balance things, and you have to be mindful of that, because sometimes, you just want to keep on going because you're so motivated and there are so many opportunities. And again, the ceiling is high. So, but at the same time, you have to remember that, your body maybe cannot really go as fast as you want. So just balancing things, making sure that you're getting enough sleep, making sure that you're exercising well, fueling your social circle. I mean, I would say those 3 things are the most important components. And I think it's not in the manual. And you get these information left and right, but no one sits with you and tells you, listen, this is so important. You have okay, you need to make money, you need to invest, But listen, this is super important. I would say it's this.
Yara, I love it. To be honest, that's exactly what I've been thinking recently. Exactly these two ideas. That first, you do not need to do things ideally, because it's much better to do maybe 5 different things, half ideally, than do only one thing, but it's going to be perfect. But no one will notice, because in fact, this one thing wasn't the most important in your life.
Yeah.
And the second, that you need to take care of yourself, like really, because like, especially in Dubai, we all are very like motivated, and we want things to be done, and we move so fast. But in fact, sometimes you just need to sit and relax.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I completely align with the idea of, I think I align with the idea of not fixating on one thing so much, especially because we grew up like, oh, work is everything, work is everything.
Yeah.
And I'm a side quest queen, so I have a lot of side quests. Yeah. But I think my biggest challenge, which you two have, adapted that I haven't yet, is wellness and health. I wear this ring and it's always red. I'm not sleeping enough. My friend is giving me a book called Slow Productivity. I'm like, this is very slow, like to read. She's like, you need to finish this book. Because I feel like I'm always like on to the next thing, even though I'm enjoying, I'm having the time of my life doing these different things because it's fueling me. But there's a time to just like reset and rest as well. And what you said. So yeah, so I agree. Agreed. Thank you, Yara. This was wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me.
This was great fun. Yeah,
nice conversation. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.